Hi, Year 7. So today you are going to make a start on your assessment for this philosophy unit. All the work is on Google Classroom under the assessment part, and your task ultimately will be to complete a piece of artwork that shows how different perspectives influence different beliefs about ultimate reality. So before you even try and tackle that, on the PowerPoint, there are some kind of memory jogs about all the different things we've done, because you need to go back over this whole unit. So looking at the statement of inquiry, different perspectives on knowledge and belief influence the ways that we view reality. And we've looked at some factual questions. So what's the difference between objective truth and subjective truth? So knowledge and belief. And what are the key features of beliefs about different gods in different religions? We've looked at some conceptual questions. So how do different perspectives influence beliefs about the nature of ultimate reality? And what is an ultimate question? And then we've also done some debatable questions. Are sources of evidence for religions reliable? And does the supernatural exist? So we've looked at all these things. You might want to go back through Google Classroom and through your notes just to remind yourself of some of those things before you even try and tackle this assessment. And then you've got to be thinking about how do different perspectives influence these beliefs about ultimate reality. So the fundamental truth about nature and the origins of the universe. In other words, is it created by a god, some kind of gods, a combination of gods, or is it nothing to do with God at all and it's just nature or the Big Bang Theory? So what do different people think? What do different religions think about this idea of ultimate reality? And with some questions here to prompt you. So have a look at these different pieces of artwork and think about the questions that are here. So what beliefs about ultimate reality are being shown in each of these? How do you know? How has the artist shown their different beliefs? And then do you think other people, so other students in the class and other people, would perceive this piece of art in the same way that you do? So what does it tell you about this idea about nature and the origins of the universe when you look at these different pieces of artwork? So you need to spend a little bit of time just thinking. So those are not easy questions to answer, and there's no obvious right or wrong. It's just to get you to think about the way, God, the universe, and all things wonderful is portrayed in art, because you're actually going to have a go at doing this yourself. So the assessment is that you are aiming to express your personal beliefs about the nature of ultimate reality. So you've got to pretend you're a famous artist who's been commissioned, so is going to be paid to produce a piece of artwork that show your beliefs about the nature of ultimate reality. Your audience is the whiz community and parents. The situation is that your artwork will be exhibited, and the product is a piece of art, a visual expression of what you understand the nature of ultimate reality to be, and then a bit of a written reflection on how you've come up with this image or this piece of work. So you're going to complete a piece of art. It could be a drawing, it could be a model, anything at all really, obviously, that you've got the materials to use at home to make it with. You're going to produce that piece of art, and you're going to produce a piece of analysis, a piece of reflection to go with it. Okay, and there's some assessment criteria here which I'll come back to at the end. All of this is linked to an art competition that's run in the UK, and the Year 7s last year did this, and actually one of the students won a prize. If you click on this link, it takes you to her work. So this is what she produced for the assessment, and this is her kind of analysis of that and an explanation of where it's come from, where her view of ultimate reality comes from. And that's quite interesting, because she says it's a blend of two sides of her family. So one is Hindu, and then the other one is this agnostic, so kind of doesn't believe in any particular god. and there's an explanation of how she's come to that. So it's a really good piece to read through because it really helps you to understand what the task is all about. Your belief could be completely different to this, and that's fine, but it will help you just understand the sort of things you need to produce. So once you've had a look at that, you can start to think about planning. So I would suggest in this lesson, this first lesson, you're really just looking at these starter prompt questions, looking at the examples and what you've got to do, and then kind of getting organised with yourself. So there's an assessment presentation here, there's a link here, and it's also on the classroom here. If you open that up, you type into this. So this is going to be, you need to make a copy of it, and this is going to be your record of your planning and your reflection as you go through this process. So you put your name in here and type your name in. The title then is already there for you. And then there's a little instruction just to say this is how you fill it in. So again, there's another link to the assessment criteria. Anything that's in black, you can type over, and anything that's red are just instructions, and you can delete those when you finish writing. So there's a little example there, but it's probably easier to show you on the next one. So the first step in this process is to think about what my beliefs actually are. So stop and have a really good think about what your beliefs are about the nature of ultimate reality. So the nature and the origins of the universe. So do you believe in a God? If so, which kind of God is it? Does that then come from a very clear religion and you can trace that back? Or do you have some other belief? What is it that you think? You might not believe in anything at all, that's fine, but have a think about what it is you believe. If it is that you believe in some sort of God or some sort of higher power, what are the abilities and the qualities of that God? Or if not, then what do you think is the explanation for the universe's existence? Do you think there's a supernatural? Do you think there's a Big Bang theory? So here where it says, I believe that, this is where you can type what your beliefs are. So you need to have a really good think before you start putting your ideas here. So explain what your belief is. And then you have to have a think about, well, where has that belief come from? So if you do believe in a God, what sources of evidence are there? Is it scriptures that have been written that have given you that? Is it rituals like going to some sort of church or temple and taking part in a collective worship? Is that where it comes from? Does your belief come from scientific theory? Does it come from miracles? How reliable do you think those sources of evidence are? And again, you can type in your answers here. So what source is it that you think your beliefs come from? What do those sources tell you? And are they reliable? Okay, and you might have more than one source, in which case you can just repeat that. And then cite your sources. So is it the Bible? Is it specific websites you've seen? What is it? Now, all of this, when you're thinking about your sources and things, there's a little link here back to the task 3 when we did the nature of God. So it might be worth having a look at that, because that'll kind of jog your memory about what kind of sources we might be referring to. Okay. And then I would say in Tuesday's lesson, you might get up to here just starting to think about your artwork and what it might look like. Okay, so start having a little plan of getting your artwork up to date. And that's where I would say for the first lesson of this, you need to be up to, because I think it's going to take a little bit of time to come back through and just recap over some of these big questions. I think you need to build in some thinking time to go through this first set of stages. Okay. The assessment criteria, we just go back to the start here. If you click on that, it will open up assessment criteria, and you can have a look through what it is you're going to be able you're going to have to do. So there are 3 criteria that you're being assessed against: investigating, communicating, and thinking critically. If your investigation is a good one, then that planning document, which is the PowerPoint we were just working through, so this is the planning document. That planning document will be detailed, all the stages will be filled in, you'll have listed any sources that you've used, and it'll be completely logical. Your artwork that you produce will be a really good representation of your beliefs and how that links to ultimate reality. And then your written piece, which we'll come to in later lessons, will explain how your beliefs are shown through that piece of art. And as well as that, you will make sure that you've described what sources have led you to the beliefs that you've got. That kind of feeds into what we were just talking about. And you'll have evaluated how reliable those sources are. And you'll have explained how those sources have filtered into your beliefs, which have then filtered into your artwork. So you can see from just looking at what's written here that this planning document will really help you target those ideas, because it's asking you to really state here what your beliefs are and where they come from and whether or not those sources are reliable. So it's directly tied into the assessment, and then obviously thinking about the actual artwork itself. So today's job is really to get up to this stage, possibly starting sketching out your artwork, but definitely having something in mind that you're going to work on in the next few lessons.